Hello everyone and welcome back to our approach into St. Maarten identifier Tango November Charlie Mike. We're currently passing through 7,000 feet, traveling at 243 knots on the approach for runway 10 at St. Maarten. As you can see, we are descending to 2,600 feet at the Uluba waypoint, which will put us on final for runway 10. So, passing through 10,000 feet, we need to make sure our landing lights are turned on and our strobe is at position and steady. So, our landing lights are on and our strobe is set, seatbelt signs are on, and let's attend the cabin crew to tell them to prepare for landing. So while we descend, let's go through our descent checklist. Our preparations have begun, so we will be landing on runway 10 via the Uluba 1 arrival into St. Maarten. We have received our weather and everything looks good, nothing to be worried about. Let's set our auto brakes to 2. And we are descending. Our altitude is set as 2,600 feet, and our flight management computer is set up for our arrival. So our frequencies are all tuned and our autopilot is set. So let's arm our speed brakes right here. And our altimeter is set. Landing lights are on. Runway turnoffs have to be turned back on. And our spoilers are armed. So that's our descent checklist complete. We're currently about 10 miles from Uluba. And we will be back when we arrive at Uluba and turn final for St. Maarten. Okay, we're back now. We are currently at 3,400 feet, descending to 2,600 feet. And if you look to the left of our aircraft, there's St. Maarten there. You can see the flashing lights on that island. So let's begin to slow down to 205 knots. And let's set flaps 1. Now we will slow to 185 knots. And let's go through the approach checklist. Flaps will be lowered as we slow down. Gear will be down at flaps 20. Decision height is set up here at 100 feet. Our autopilot altitude is set at 2,600 feet. There is no auto land today because the airport does not have the beacons to land. Our throttles will be manual on landing and our spoilers are armed. So we are just about to turn final, so let's put down flaps 2. And now let's set flaps 5. So let's get the latest weather to make sure nothing has changed, and then we shall be prepared for landing.
November Charlie Mike Airport information vector 2329 Zulu weather wind 104 at 6 visibility 10 sky condition 4,400 scattered temperature 28 dew point 24 QNH 1.
Okay, so the winds are only at 6 knots, which means that everything is good, so let's descend further. Down to 1,500 feet. And flaps 15. I will now take manual control And there we go, autopilot is disconnected. So let's turn off our warnings. And let's put flaps 20 and landing gear down. If we check our FMC, our landing speed will be 142 knots and flaps 30 will be our landing flaps. So let's set flaps 25 now as we slow down. Make sure our lights are all turned on here. Wheel well lights are on, turn-offs and landings are on. Now flaps 30. I will now take control of the throttles. There. Okay, I have control. And let's try and keep 147 knots, because we need to add 5 knots to our approach speed because of the winds. We're currently a little high, but let's just level off the plane here and adjust the throttle so we descend. Currently passing over Maho Beach, which is famous for landing here at Princess Juliana Airport in St. Maarten. Nose up and add throttle to compensate for the extra weight acting down. 200 feet.
100. Sink rate. 20.
Oh, we're floating. And full reversers, full brakes, and speed brakes are up. Okay, welcome to St. Maarten. Let's turn around down here now at the end of the airport, or runway, that is. Slow down, flaps up. And let's turn around. It's a very nice day now here in St. Maarten, and we can go through our after landing checklist. So, transponder will be set to standby. Flight directors can now be turned off. Spoilers are up. Flaps are set to 0. Auto brake is off. Taxi lights are on. Landing lights are off. Runway turn-offs are off, and our strobe is set to steady. All anti-ice will now be turned off. And our landing time will now be noted. Let's start our APU, and our autopilot is all disconnected. So let's now taxi to our gate. Our total flight time was 4 hours and 21 minutes. And we will be back once we arrived at the gates for final shutdown. at the gate here in St. Maarten, and let's go through our parking and shutdown checklist. So taxi lights have to be turned off, parking brake is set, APU generator switches will now be turned on, APU bleed will be on, engine 1, let's cut off, there we go, and engine 2 is cut off. Master warning, it was just disengaged, and let's set our wheel chocks and our ground power. Okay, so let's turn off the seatbelt signs now so the passengers can move around. And let's turn on our ground power. Turn our APU off now. And turn off our external lights. Put our position 2 steady, which it is. Wheel well on, logo and wing is all on. And our anti-collision will be off. Our transponder was set to standby. Our yaw damper has to be turned off. Hydraulic pumps have to all be turned off, as well as our fuel pumps all have to be turned off. External lights can now all be turned off. And the emergency lights can be uncovered and turned off. Our IRS switches will be turned off now. Our ground power will be disconnected. Our interior lights are all turned off now, and our battery will now be turned off. Battery, there it is, and off. So, the plane has now been shut down and powered down. So, we have arrived in St. Maarten now, coming from Toronto on WestJet flight 2652. Tune in next time for some stormy approaches into Halifax and St. John's. So tune in next time for that. Thanks for watching.